All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Super here, and welcome to another Invincible versus video. Yeah, I know it's like 3 days in a row, but today was actually a huge day because people who actually got to play the game got to share their experience, got to talk about the mechanics, and of course, that's something that we haven't heard of yet. So I just made a note of everything that I thought was interesting about the mechanics and the gameplay for Invincible Versus. So this video you guys are going to see in the background is from IGN. It says Invincible Versus is a brutal, bloody 3v3 fighting game. I'll leave their video linked in the description if you want to see the opinions of the person who's actually, narrating this video. But this gameplay right here is pretty much what everyone is uploading. This is a pre-alpha build, so some of the gameplay might look a little rough. It's not finished, but this is like gameplay that was provided to people for for videos to talk about their experience playing this game. So let's get into it here. By the way, leave a like on the video for Invincible Versus. Man, this game is sounding crazier and crazier the more I hear about it. So I'll point out some stuff that I noticed, including like this one crazy ass combo that I'll point out when I see it. All right, so first of all, basic mechanics is this game is going to be a light, medium, heavy button game. Pretty, I guess like Marvel 3, right? Or Dragon Ball Fighters, light, medium, heavy. Down heavy is going to be your launcher. It seems like a lot of this game, the best way to play this game is to try to be in the air as much as possible. I noticed that a lot of the gameplay is aerial based because it seems like even though the movement is good on the ground, this game is going to shine the most when you're in the air doing air combos, air movement. I think there are 8-way dashes based on what I saw here. I don't know if every character is going to have 8-way dashes, but I do know that the movement is really good based on everything that we've been seeing here. So all right, so each character has multiple assists. That's one thing that I had a question about. So every character, I think there was only 4 characters in the build. Each character has different assists, and interestingly enough, some assists actually work differently when you call the assist during block stun compared to if you hit your opponent during a combo. The assist actually changes. From what someone was explaining is if I do a block string as the offensive player and then during that block string I call in my assist to keep my opponent locked down, there's actually a mix-up at the end where it's like an overhead, and I believe that it's a universal thing where each character has like this overhead assist that they do, and it only works that way when it's on block. So you get some of these hard to block situations during block stun. So there is push block. That's one of the defensive mechanics that is coming back from a traditional Marvel game. One thing that I was wondering about was what type of meter system are they going to have in this game? So they have 2 different types of meter. Number one, they have that meter up top that you guys see here. So, right underneath the red life bar, you see 3 bars of meter. So that meter is called the heroic meter. And that meter is individual to every one of your characters. So for example, she has 3 bars of meter, and if one of my other assists, I had already used a bunch of meter, maybe I have like half a bar, right? And then I bring that character in, that character will have half a bar of meter. So each character has their individual heroic meter, and this meter pretty much controls almost everything except for super moves. So this heroic meter is going to allow you to use your breaker, which I'll talk about the breaker system in a little bit. The heroic meter allows you to enhance moves like that one that you guys just saw in the background. It even allows you to enhance your dashes, which I think is pretty interesting because some of these dashes that characters are going to have are going to, well, the dashes already look pretty fast on the ground. But if you could enhance your dashes in the air and do like a tri-dash, like a Magneto, for example, in Marvel 2, and have like almost an instant overhead situation like Magneto has, that's going to be pretty crazy. So The meter is also used for your push blocking. So push blocking, I think, takes half a bar of meter away. The heroic meter is pretty much where the game is going to be revolved around. And it seems like it regenerates somewhat quickly. It seems like it doesn't regenerate when you're in block stun, but when you're a hit stun, it does. So let's talk about this right here, what we just saw. Assist breaker. All right, so that's an assist breaker right there. This is completely different than, I believe we saw it somewhere around here. I think we see it somewhere around here where it's the actual like combo breaker compared to the assist breaker. All right, so no, is it this one? No, I think this is the normal assist breaker, right? The other one is called tag breaker. So the assist breaker is pretty much just like your normal breaker, you know, Mortal Kombat 1, you use a breaker, you spend 2 bars a meter, blah blah blah. It's pretty much the same as that, or a burst system in a game like Guilty Gear. But the thing is, it seems like you could oh, this is the combo that I wanted to show you guys here. Check this combo out, guys. This combo shows you the potential of this game. Don't mind the damage because, you know, this is pre-alpha build. They're probably going to, you know, change the damage up. But look at this. Does a super move into an active tag, into a combo, into a super move, and then into an active tag to the second character. And then that second character comes in and does the super move to finish off the opponent. So one thing that's really cool about the active tag in this game, you could actually do an active tag after a super move. So that's what you guys are seeing here. Obviously, you know, you're going to spend 1 bar of meter to do your super. She does her normal combo. Psycho Crusher right there. Boom, active tag. She comes in for a normal combo, does her super, and then at some point right here, she does an active tag to Invincible. And then from that active tag, only 1 hit connects. Boom, that 1 hit connects. Combos straight into his super, and then that finishes the opponent off. Obviously, you do have the KI breaker mechanic where if you know your opponent's going to do an active tag in, you could actually counter that by pressing the right button to counter it. So there is a little, you know, there's definitely a defensive way to avoid getting put into that situation. But that combo I thought was like, whoa, that combo looks awesome. So where'd I leave off at? Yeah, I was just talking about the 2 types of breaker, which one of them is a counter tag, which is whenever you think your opponent's going to do an assist or an active tag and you press the button at the right time to stop that. That costs nothing. It's just the Killer Instinct type of like combo breaker. I'll keep my eye out if I see it over here. Assist breaker. Was it that one? No, I think it might come up somewhere around here. I remember seeing it in one of these gameplays. I'll point it out. I'm trying to like pay attention to the gameplay as well, but I have my notes here because obviously, you know, I had to, you know, I didn't actually get hands-on in the game, but I did try to get as much info about it as I could. So yeah, you have your counter tag, and then you have your assist breaker. So let me see what else. The combo meter, which I talked about before. I actually got the opposite. So, well, I talked about it a little bit more, you know, after I noticed that it was filling up instead of like filling like down. But combo meter fills up as you do longer combos. But when you do an active tag, you could actually extend your combos and extend your damage. That's how you're going to be able to do the big combos, the big damage. But from people's experience, you don't have these like insanely long combos like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 where the combo lasts for about 2 minutes and, you know, the damage scales so much at the end where the combo barely does any damage, but, you know, it kills anyway because it's like you have the THC infinite. So the way that you're going to be able to extend your combos and extend your damage is by doing active tag. And of course, there's, like I mentioned, the counterplay to that is the counter tag. Did I say counter tag? I meant active tag. So whenever you do an active tag, it actually brings your combo meter back down a little bit. And then obviously, as you continue the combo, it's going to fill up, but it actually brings your combo meter down. Let me see. Is it right here where they do something? I was trying to look for the counter tag, but it's somewhere around here. You guys could see it whenever it happens. It literally says counter tag. All right, another little anecdote here. You could snap your opponent's assist, just like in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, or pretty much a lot of the Marvel games. You could snap your opponent's assist, if you think that one of their assists is a little bit too strong, or if you want to use, maybe their best character first, or you think so-and-so is a better matchup. There you go. So this is it right here. All right, so this is the counter tag mechanic that I was telling you guys about that's different from the tag breaker or assist breaker. Right here, he's going to try to do an active tag, right? And then she's going to counter it with the counter tag. And that's your defensive mechanic, to not get put into that insane combo that I showed you guys before. So I was looking out for that specific clip the whole time. So to not get put into this combo situation, you have to do your counter tag. All right, so let me see. What else was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so you could snap your opponent's assist, if you feel like you want to fight a better matchup with one of their assists instead of the main character you're fighting against. But it is going to cost 1 bar of super meter. The bar at the bottom left that you guys see, bottom left, bottom right, is your super meter. It seems like every character has a level 1 super. I don't know if they have like level 3 supers. I'm sure they will have, but the way you do your super attacks is you just press like heavy and a special move. And similar to, fighting games nowadays, special moves, you're gonna have your special move, and then you're gonna press like neutral special or like back special, forward special, to do different special moves. And of course, you have your auto combo system, square, 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 square. Goes into like a basic bread and butter combo, goes into a super, for newer players. So you have that as a sort of like a training wheels type of thing. So when you finish your opponent off, interestingly enough, in Marvel vs. Capcom, right, you finish your opponent off, and then their like assist or their second, third character, they come in. Right? So then as an offensive player, you actually have a huge advantage where you could go for a hard to block mix-up on the incoming character. But in this game, when you finish your opponent off, it's more like a Dragon Ball FighterZ kind of clash where everything gets reset back to neutral. You have a nice clash and you get to, start playing from neutral, where the offensive player who finished you off doesn't have that advantage on the incoming. So once you finish your opponent off, interestingly enough, you actually have a little bit of time to move around and do things. So someone was talking about this, where if you finish your opponent off, you actually have the ability for about 2 seconds to move around and do whatever you want, meaning that if you feel like you want to use a different character versus the character that's going to be incoming, you could switch to another one of your characters and have that be the matchup that starts the next round off. Or you could teabag your opponent. That's what he was saying. I'm like, there is definitely going to be a lot of teabagging when someone finishes a character off. I guarantee you that. So that's pretty interesting. They gave you like a few seconds. Maybe that's just like an alpha build thing, but if that ends up being the case where you have a few seconds after you finish your opponent off, there's gonna be a lot of teabagging, that's for sure. All right, so this final mechanic in the game, I don't think I saw it anywhere, but it's called the sudden death mechanic, where it's just like a sudden death thing, where if the time runs out, right, if the 99 seconds or however long the clock is, if that time runs out, the 2 characters on screen will get the health bar from your other characters that are still alive, and they're going to combine it to the main character's health bar. So the 2 characters out there, if time runs out, they go into a sudden death where it becomes a 1v1 fight with the 2 characters that are left out there when the time runs out. and the life bar from the other characters gets added to the character who's out. So it literally becomes a sudden death, and you're just fighting one on one. But after a certain time, the health bars start to go down. So if one of the players is playing like very defensive, but he has less health than the other player, just naturally that player is going to lose because the health bars are going down as time keeps ticking, right? I don't know if there's going to be another like clock that is going to start counting down the time. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of signal when your health bar starts deteriorating, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting with the timeout situations and more of the defensive players, because if you have three of your characters, right, versus one of your opponent's characters, but the two characters that are not on the screen have lower health bars, there could be a situation where the time runs out and that one character that your opponent had ends up having more life than three of your characters combined. And then he has or she has that advantage in the sudden death. So I thought that was a really fun mechanic for when time runs out, because you guys know when time runs out, the only thing that happens is the game finishes and whoever has more health ends up winning the match. So I feel like this is a unique little addition to something that has always traditionally been the same for a long time. So that about does it, guys. People got to play it for a little bit. I've been to a lot of these events where you get to record footage early, or you get to just test the game, play the game early. And to be honest, you only have about 45 minutes, maybe an hour to play test these games. So a lot of the experiences, I'm sure, are very, very, very limited time. So I can't wait to actually get some more information and maybe some more developer matches with some commentary explaining in depth some of these new things that are being introduced into this game. But it's cool that we got to actually see like solid gameplay that they wanted to demonstrate. So I'm very happy about that. I've been checking out as much footage as I can, but to be honest, they sent this to pretty much everyone that played the game early to talk about their experience. But the gameplay itself that you guys are seeing in the background is pretty much what everyone has access to. So I want to show you guys this and also talk about the little, I guess, notes that I took from everyone who was talking about their experience playing this game. I cannot wait. I know that this game is a long ways away from being released, but it looks really, really fun. Like I said, this is pre-alpha build. A lot of people are, downplaying. Well, not really downplaying. They're like talking smack about the some of the movements, some of the animations, but this is pre-alpha build. So I know that everything is going to get polished up once the game gets closer to release. But to be honest, like the gameplay is what has me excited, because the gameplay system seems like it's not only in depth when it comes to offense, but also defense with that KI mechanic. And yeah, I'm really excited about this game. Obviously, we don't know anything about Marvel Tokon, so I really don't have any comment on its gameplay. It looks crazy 4v4, but so far we've gotten a lot from Invincible Versus. So this is the game that I'm excited for the most at the moment, because we actually know what this game is gonna bring. So yeah, I want to play it. I want to play it, and I want to like be in practice mode, just learning the mechanics and coming up with some sick ass combos. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.